Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Two Asian Blokes Podcast, a podcast where we talk about Asian pop culture, films, TV shows, comic books, anime, music, food, whatever we're feeling at the time, really. My name is Dan with H, and with me, as always, is my co-host Tavi. Hi, Tavi.
Hey, Dan. We're in the flesh again, and
Yes.
in a different state. You couldn't get enough of me, could you?
I'm in Melbourne.
You had
Yeah.
to come to Melbourne.
In the family home.
Yes,
This is where I grew up.
Yep. With all reading a lot of Stephen King, obviously.
Well, I don't know if I read them all, but they're here.
Your cheap fix to not having a mic stand. But yeah, that's cool.
You've been complaining about your mic stand for the past 10 minutes and you want me to buy one?
So I think the stand is fine. It's the design of these microphones because it's all magnetic.
Yeah.
Before we had a bit of an accident where I knocked it over.
Yeah.
And then
Just to prove a point, really.
Yeah.
If you hear a little bit of clicking, I guess, and that's my heater. I just turned it off and it's made of metal, so it's creaking.
Yeah, sorry, risky.
As it cools down. Yeah, but that is Risky's problem. So, but if he didn't get rid of it all, I apologize to the listeners.
What are you drinking, Dan?
Yeah, I've got the barley and ginger ale.
Yeah,
As is tradition with my household, it's old and flat ginger ale that I found in the fridge.
Yeah, I mixed mine's a bit of an unconventional drink. It's Bally's and lemon lime bitters. It tastes pretty good, actually.
Is it okay?
Yeah, no, it's nice. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, no, it's well, welcome back to Melbourne, man.
Thank you.
I mean, it was pretty sudden. Like you told me I'm going to Melbourne. So I'm like, oh shit, all right, well, I guess I better prepare some stuff. We try to get a bit more production value.
Yeah, no, well done.
Lights.
We've got some lights now, so we're properly lit.
Yeah,
Tommy's gone for
mostly
a Blade Runner vibe. He's got these fancy coloured lights.
Yeah, just put these filters on. Yeah, but hopefully as time goes by, you'll see our production value is getting bigger. But you'll probably see us going back to audio when Dan goes back to Sydney.
Sure.
and we've run out of all the live action stuff.
Now, Tavi's going to teach me how to work my camera, so maybe we'll
Oh,
still
yeah,
put
that's
our
true,
faces on there.
Yeah, I got to do that. That's right.
And as soon as we get that Raid Shadow Legend sponsorship, Tavi, it's all uphill from there.
All right, we'll show you stuff.
Come on,
man.
guys,
We
yeah.
like the game.
Even though the game doesn't exist, we'll shill it. We know the ads are the only thing that exists on that game.
I don't think I've seen any of my friends play Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah. What are we talking about today, Tavi?
We're talking about the Netflix anime original series, Spriggan, which we
Whoop, whoop.
we didn't mention it, but it was on one of our posts. We
did a Sunday night streaming recommendation of Spriggan, the 1998 feature film.
Yeah, we watched Spriggan, I think, a couple of weeks ago.
Same night as we watched Morbius, so obviously it wasn't as good as Morbius.
No, not as good as Morbius,
but it still holds up. Yeah, and we'll talk about the film a little bit. One of Boone's favorite films.
One of Boone's favorite movies. Yeah, when he was adamant that it was one of the greatest movies of all time.
It's probably the alcohol talking a bit. It's good. But,
Yeah.
Greatest film of all time. It's not up there with Morbius.
Yeah, but it's definitely up there with the that early or the 90s aesthetic of anime. They kind of heavily that really detailed, almost gritty look.
It was kind of on the cusp of cell animation dying out, right? Old school. I feel along the same era as Akira.
It was a little bit. Akira was 88, right? Or 89.
Let me look that up. I thought it was later.
No, Akira is in the 80s, I think. I'm pretty sure. I mean, if you look at it.
Yeah, you're right. 1988.
Yeah. So
okay.
Spriggan was 9 years after Akira. But yeah, it's kind of with those familiar with Ghost in the Shell and Akira, that kind of animation.
But the plot line of Spriggan is basically there's an agency called Arkham that is responsible for monitoring ancient relics, I guess, and like powerful ancient relics that, if put in the wrong hands, could end the world. So Arkham is this organization that has been charged with keeping watch over these relics and making sure they don't fall into the wrong hands. And Arkham has these elite special super soldiers called Spriggans.
Yeah.
The titular Spriggan. The 1998 movie, just like the Netflix series, centers around Yu Ominai.
Yeah.
Or Ominai Yu. Who is the protagonist of this series. And yeah, he's a Japanese Spriggan who is also a high school student. In the movie, the 1998 movie, there's not as much play. Like, you don't see as much of the high school stuff as you do in the Netflix series. You see a brief glimpse of it where he's like falling asleep in class.
Yeah, basically the movie is the second episode
of the series.
Yeah. So the movie was only covering one chapter, but trying to bring some of Ominai Yu's backstory. But like, yeah, I enjoyed this series. To be honest, when I saw the trailer for it, I was a little bit skeptical because I could tell that the animation style was a bit bland.
It's newer, right? It doesn't have the old charm.
It doesn't have the old charm. It doesn't
movie.
have that detailed, like, intricate look of the old movie. Like, you don't see a lot of, like, the really small mechanical details of things.
Right.
The fight scenes were cool. I really enjoyed the action sequences. I think there's more action sequences in the new one because it's a series.
Yeah.
I might have liked the action sequences a little bit more in the original just because they were a bit more detailed.
I think the speed of the motion is a bit different because the new Spriggan has a lot more CG elements in it, I think.
Yeah.
And it's like, you kind of see it like when he like powers up the muscle suit and like there's that kind of iridescent glow of the suit. Like, I think that's pretty cool though, like how it's been blended, but it does kind of create like a different pacing in some of the fight scenes. Like you see it particularly when like Ominai is fighting like a machine.
Yeah.
And like the machine is entirely CG, but like
Ominai
is like still like.
But then sometimes Ominai is 3D and 2D, and they kind of mix it.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how well it's blended in this series. It's a little bit jarring sometimes.
You do notice it sometimes.
An anime that did that really well was Belle earlier this year.
But that's got the funding of a
the funding
of a feature film.
But like, I could tell that probably Netflix didn't fund. They're probably just starting to lose money maybe when they were doing this.
This series is only 6 episodes long.
Yeah, six by 40 minutes. So it's about a 12 episode anime, I reckon.
Yeah, about that.
So it's,
what did you think of the pacing of it? Because like this series, like both the featured 1998 film and this series, they come from a manga series, obviously. And the benefit of a manga is it spanned over like a long series of time, right? So there are like heaps of chapters, or introducing like different characters and different subplots, and they're able to tie those subplots off kind of because they have the benefit of time. Whereas the feature film was only like 2 hours long, right? And I feel like they tried to cram, like my main criticism of that film is they tried to cram too much into a short amount of time.
I think that happened a lot in those early 90s anime because they weren't, there were series, but they weren't like too, anime had still not reached its popularity as it has like these days. But yeah, in terms of the overall pacing, I actually do like the pacing in the Netflix series better. And I like the expansion of the lore. I didn't know what's his face? Jean-Jacques Mondu was a lichen. That was very random.
That came out of left
I was
field,
just
didn't
like,
it?
oh,
because
okay.
Tabby and I haven't read the manga. We only watched the 1998 film. And in the 1998 film, he's just a French guy.
Yeah, he's just a French guy
Spriggan, right?
who's really fast. He's just a French Spriggan. But I like the lore a lot in this show. I like its use of like fantasy and technology.
Yeah, it's got kind of like a Indiana Jones vibe.
Yeah,
right?
Indiana Jones,
more so than
Tomb
the original
Raider.
movie,
Yeah.
I feel like the 1998 film was going for more like an espionage spy kind of vibe, whereas this one, because like each episode is a different story, yeah. So they kind of like jump around in terms of locations. So like the episode that the movie is based on, episode 2. You know, they're at a snowy like army base, yeah. But then the next episode will be like a jungle, like with like Aztec gods or whatever, like Hindu gods
forest.
maybe,
Yeah.
Because it jumps around in location, I feel like you kind of get a lot more of that Indiana Jones vibe.
And I think it's a pretty like malleable world. Like you can kind of chuck anything in there. I know they definitely have. Like there's a guy who's really good at martial arts, and you can just somehow dodge bullets. Like that's fine.
You got like there's in the same episode you got the guys trying to create the Fourth Reich. You know, typical, like
that was pretty much a rip off of the Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls. Wasn't it? It was basically
infinitely better, bro.
That episode was the running guy. He looked really funny.
That made me laugh. Like the combination of him like being so proud of his speed and just running in circles, and like the martial arts guy just trolling him. It's really funny combination.
And it's funny because he's like really tank as well.
Yeah.
But he's just like really fast. Yeah.
I think when I watched the first episode of this series, I was like, man, this show is really anime. Like, there's a lot of like the entrance of each character is so like anime. Like they'll just be off screen and they'll just say like a cool line, and before they like into the shot.
Yeah, I think the series doesn't really take itself that seriously.
And there's a lot of like explaining how you're defeating someone as you're defeating.
Yeah. It's kind of I wouldn't say it's a guilty pleasure anime, but it's very like
there are tropes.
Yeah.
And like you either love or hate the tropes, I feel like.
Yeah. I think it's pretty tropey, and it's like there's a lot of convenient explanations to why they survive things.
We've said in the past, like, anime can get away with a lot of stuff that live action can't, like, narrative-wise.
Yeah.
I think, was it our Cowboy Bebop episode, maybe? Probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. One of our anime episodes.
One of those things is, like, really cheesy dialogue as well. I love it. And even the mishmash of tones as well, because you mentioned like Yu is a high school student, so in the anime series you kind of see a lot more of that side of his story. Like you get to meet more of his classmates. I can't remember any of their names, but there's like the tomboy one and the dainty class president one, and like the really shy girl in like the last episode. That high school aesthetic is so different to like when he's in the jungle just killing motherfuckers.
I thought it was interesting because there's one episode where the plot is he promises to get back to, because he's always skipping out on school because he's leading his like double agent life. Which doesn't really, if you really think about it, doesn't make sense. Because like even one of his superiors, like, haven't you already given up on school?
I assume that the high school is in on it. Like
they are in on it.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know why the students just don't know, just because of plot convenience. Because it's a fun
like
trope.
They explain it from Yu's character's perspective, because like he wants to attend school because that's the humanity side of him. If it wasn't for school, he'd just be like a child soldier just killing motherfuckers.
Yeah, I guess so. That makes sense, like to the story, but like logistically, it doesn't work.
Yeah, like but, why haven't the kids kind of? He's always like coming to school beaten up as well.
But I didn't mind that aspect. Like the episode, like I was saying just then, like he promises to attend school because it's one of the girls' like last day at the school or something, and then he's like late because the mission doesn't go quite according to plan. But you're like, man, get to school. Like, I want him, with him. Like, go to school and spend your last
he's gonna
day
miss
with
the school festival, the sports festival.
He's gonna miss the sports festival. And,
Meanwhile, there's like a ancient war machine wreaking havoc.
That's basically going to destroy the world if it doesn't. Like, he's like, I gotta get to school. It's kind of like the Japanese equivalent. Oh, I gotta get to the prom. I gotta get to the school festival. But yeah, I didn't mind because it's like it's a silly trope, but it's kind of fun. I really like the concept of the show. Especially like back when I was in high school, like we led pretty average lives in high school. Like, man, it would be cool if I was like a super soldier or something. Sure. So it's like,
I mean, it's that thing of like, it's kind of like a YA trope, I guess, where it's like an ordinary school kid, except he's not ordinary.
It's kind of like a YA trope, but it's violent.
Yeah.
But I think it's the same for Invincible as well.
Yeah. Invincible, I didn't really like it that much in Invincible.
Yeah, no, you told me that. Yeah. It's actually, upon reflection, that is definitely the weakest part of that show. Yeah. But that's like,
That's because all the kids in his school, in Invincible school, are annoying little bitches.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think about it, and it's like, I didn't really like any of his friends. But that's Invincible.
Now, Spriggan, it works somehow. Yeah.
They don't dwell on it too much in Spriggan. It's more about the missions.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's not as much high school drama going on.
It's an interesting world where it seems to be there's more than one child soldier or more than one high schooler kid who's actually really good at adventuring.
Yeah.
In my favorite episode, actually, which is the third one, the forest one. Yeah. There's like an introduction to that Tomb Raider character who's like just, I don't remember her name. There's this little girl. Yoshino, yeah. And she just like joins the crew, the party.
Yeah, she's fun.
Yeah,
she's fun. Yeah. I think it's like, it's one another anime trope where like the villains are all like these grotesque, like cybernetically enhanced monsters, but like the good guys are just like sexy teens.
Or cute like little girls that have no business being where they are in that part of the world or doing whatever job that they're doing at the time.
But what did you think of like, because of the episodal format, it's kind of like you're introduced to a different character, a different side character every story.
Yeah.
And a different like villain every story. It's kind of like, I'm your supporting character for this episode and I'm your villain for this episode. And then they kind of like, they none of them like ever get killed off or like they kind of just disappear until the next time that the anime would need them. You know, did you enjoy that part of it? Or would you have preferred like more of a resolution, like a definitive resolution?
It's a bit more like 90s, that style of storytelling, which I didn't mind. I didn't like it back then is because there was so many of that kind of shows.
So yeah, that's my brother. My brother's around here somewhere. Yeah. It's being just a ghost haunting this way.
Yeah. Sorry, Risky. But we what was I saying? Yeah, like back in those days, I didn't like it so much. But now everything like kind of continues. Like I haven't seen that kind of show for a while.
Right.
So I thought it was a bit refreshing to watch again. This kind of storytelling, like how there's a different feel. It's kind of like Cowboy Bebop almost.
Yeah.
There's like a different feel. Not as good as Cowboy Bebop, but like, there's almost a different genre because the forest was a forbidden forest. I think it was the third episode.
Yeah, the third episode
was like more of the horror, body horror kind of episode where they're in this forbidden forest in India, and they're trying to find all the research teams that have gone missing, and they've been turned into like tree monsters.
Yeah,
and
there's like trees bursting out of their eye sockets.
That was cool. I really enjoyed that. And then there's this kind of like tenuous relationship between Yoshino and Ominayu, and then this other guy. Yeah,
this other badass guy.
Yeah. So I enjoyed
organization.
Yeah, I enjoyed that like dynamic.
Sure,
it was fun. It reminded me of like Yeah, it reminded me of Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo. Like, you know, and they kind of have this weird relationship where, like, you don't know if they should trust each other or if they can trust each other, but, like, they have to.
Yeah.
And I thought the body horror aspect of it was pretty cool.
It does fall into the trap of getting a bit predictable, though, I think. Because, like, you get introduced to a character like Yoshino and a character like that other guy, and you're like, yeah, these guys aren't going to die.
Yeah.
Because they're clearly designed to be around for a while. And, like, even though the other guy, he's working for, like, a rival organization to use, so they're enemies. So they should be killing each other, but, you know, like, they're not going to, you know, in that episode anyway. I guess an exception to that is later down the line where he ends up facing off against his former trainer.
Yeah, he's, like, betrayed.
Yeah, who is also, like, in a rival company. And that actually gets a resolution. So I feel like that was, like, the stronger storytelling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
but that's also, they decide not to renew it as well. So at least there's some kind of...
There's some kind of resolution. It is open-ended, though. It does end openly. So, like, and it is only 6 episodes. And it does seem like it's been pretty well received. So I do feel like they'll probably... I mean, Netflix is so unpredictable, right?
Yeah. But Netflix is losing money now. And they're more selective on what they're making now.
But I think animation, you know, it's a little bit cheaper than the live action stuff. So...
Whoa, I don't know about that.
Animators, man, they work for cheap. They're on the crunch.
That's not a good
Voice
sentiment.
actors as well. Don't even go there, Tavi.
But did you have a favorite episode?
I probably like either the Crystal Skull one or the one where he fights his former trainer.
Yeah, it's the final
Final
episode
one,
6.
isn't it? Yeah.
That's where the Forbidden Island or something.
Yeah.
The ghost island, and then it's like it's a time portal thing, and then he fights that fight scene was cool.
It was,
when he's fighting his last boss.
Yeah, again, it was very anime.
Yeah,
it kind of reminded me of like a Samurai Champloo vibe, like because it's just a knife fight.
Yeah,
but they're like talking to each other as they're fighting, and his trainer's like lecturing him about, you know, manning up and you know, owning up to his responsibility and how his naivety is going to get everyone killed. But yeah, that was fun.
And the submarine, not the submarine, the ships battling. That was fun.
Yeah, that's like something different that they put into it.
You mentioned that you like the music to the show.
Yeah,
the music's cool. I actually like the opening theme a lot. It reminds me of like a Bond song. Like the feel of this show feels like 90s.
It's very like Hideo Kojima, like
that's
Metal Gear
a
Solid
good way,
kind of style. Like it's influenced by like Bond and like all that stuff.
Yeah, Evil Dead probably.
Yeah.
With all the tree
So you
shit.
can see like the influences in the work, but it's like done in a way where it's kind of turned into its own thing.
Yeah.
But you can still feel the nostalgia of those influences in it.
I think that's like the beauty of these shows. It's like we were talking about Shinichi no Watanabe's work and why Cowboy Bebop, the anime, and the live action doesn't work. I mean, the anime works, live action doesn't work.
Sure.
Because, you know, I feel like there's a genuine interest in that kind of thing. But I think, as I was saying before, like what falls short of the show for me is probably the animation. Like, it gets a bit jarring. Like, there's a particular scene where, like, I think he's running up these stairs or running down these stairs, and they, like, CGI it for no reason. And then he's, like, moving his shoulders, but he just looks like he's just doing this. And it just looks weird. It looks like, they just ran out of time.
It's a case of, like, when it works, it like looks good, but it's pretty noticeable when like they've just cut corners, I guess.
I think they've put all their efforts into the fight scenes because the fight scenes look really good. I think they're fun to watch. I enjoyed the tree monster fights, the final fighting. the Mirage guy, the guy who's he's got all the key points, and the guy just running.
The running guy.
See, I think that's when the janky animation works because it looks funny.
Yeah, and it's also kind of like reminiscent of like Dragon Ball Z.
Like powering up.
Yeah, the powering up, and just like when people are moving fast, they're just kind of flickering around.
Yeah.
That's another anime trope, I guess.
Yeah.
Super speed just looks like that. Speaking of the voice actors, did you watch it subbed or dubbed? I'm guessing subbed, right?
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of it dubbed because sometimes I was like doing something else while watching it, so I wasn't paying as much attention to it. The dubbing's not bad. It's it's serviceable.
Yeah.
You know, I prefer subs, obviously, but I think if you watched it dubbed for the first time, you could mistake it for like the original
Another
language.
show. Yeah.
It's pretty. Yeah, I think the voice actors on both sides do a pretty good job. Do you think it's better than the movie?
It's probably a little bit better, only because the lore is opened up, so it's a lot more interesting. What I liked in the movie more was the animation.
Which still holds up. Still looks really good.
But the pace, you're right about the pacing, is super rushed. Like, the first half is really cool, and then they have to get into the god mumbo jumbo, the religious stuff. I liked how Ominayu's past is shown a bit more in the movie. And it's a bit more gritty, I guess. But it's only really a hand wave mention in the anime. In the Netflix anime. So I wonder if because I know about Ominayu's backstory, so I kind of feel for the character more. But I wonder for people who have never watched the original Spriggan will watch the Netflix anime, and it's like, why is there a kid who's 16 years old killing soldiers? You know that his parents have died. But like it's kind of more of a thing in the movie where he dwells on it like for a bit more. In this one, I think it's like the Mirage guy like mentions it, and he's like, "Oh, don't talk about that." Like
he's
like
a lot
kind
lighter, I think, in the series.
He's definitely lighter. Yeah, I kind of like the lighter tone, even though it's pretty violent.
Yeah, but it's a bit more fun, I think.
Yeah.
Then a lot of the movie is that kind of that Noah's Ark like stuff, and it's also that little kid, I think Colonel McDougal. Yeah, he's just like losing his shit, and like there's a lot of philosophy coming from him. And can we skip to the action? For this kind of show, like I think the episodal format and the pacing of the series works a bit better. Just because they can they don't have to kind of dwell on stuff for too long. Like it moves at a pretty good clip, and the tone kind of matches that. If it gets renewed for a second season, like then they could flesh out more of like Ominai's character, and which I'm sure they will if they do get another shot at this.
Yeah. Hopefully they do. I'd like to see more. They do close on a pretty interesting cliffhanger.
Did they?
You didn't watch past the credits, did you, in the last episode?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I thought so.
What happens in the...
So you basically see like another Spriggan or another Spriggan-like kid like complete a mission and kill all these guards. And then basically this kid gets an assassination job for Ominayu. So then this kid is basically a new student in Ominayu's school.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I thought so. I thought you missed that. You're like, yeah, the ending's open-ended. I'm like, you didn't watch the credits.
The post-credits coming again.
Yeah, it's all that Marvel shit, man. Yeah, that's why you got to watch all the anime, all the intros and all the outros.
And all the credits.
Actually, to be fair, for this Spriggan, I didn't watch any of the outros except the final episode because I just had it on TV. Right. Because like, you know how Netflix does the outro skip? Yeah. Like, I was always too far from the remote to like reach it in time to stop it.
Okay.
So I just like, it's fine.
Well, there you go. I guess they if you want to see like a resolution to that, they're gonna have to get a second season.
Yeah. So it's they're built up to a second season, but I don't know if they're actually going to do it.
Yeah, who knows with Netflix, really?
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know. I don't understand what they're using to determine what shows get cancelled and which ones.
Well, I mean,
don't.
they stopped making movies like senior year. There's more money to put into Spriggan, you know?
This is true. But yeah, I will definitely watch more of this, and I hope it continues. Like, this is like, I think animation is one of Netflix's strengths.
Animation, and there's actually a lot of good Asian stuff on Netflix. Netflix cops such a bad reputation, which I don't think is deserved, because there's actually good stuff on there. Just have to look at international stuff. Like, there's a lot of
Like, are you talking about Money Heist Korea, Tavi?
I haven't seen any of the Money
Yeah,
Heist.
you're talking
I've heard Money
about,
Heist Korea is not very good.
Singles Inferno.
I've seen an episode of Singles Inferno where me and my friends were just perving. But like, no, I'm talking. I've been watching like a couple of like Taiwanese dramas on there recently. A lot of and I've mentioned before, like recommends and stuff. A lot of like the up and coming Taiwanese films and directors are being shown on Netflix, and they're good, and they're a different style. But yeah, that's just like, if you watch like the non-Western original Netflix stuff, you actually find some decent things, you know. So I think it's worth having a Netflix account to watch these shows.
And
but
like people are still subscribed to them.
But like you always hear, or I always hear when like people review stuff on Netflix. Netflix has a certain reputation. Like when you hear when the word Netflix original is uttered, it's usually derogatory.
Sure.
And that's kind of sad, because they do make some good stuff, but it's just like not Western stuff. But the thing is also, a lot of the non-Western stuff, it's not actually them producing it. It's like they've acquired it.
It's just them acquiring it.
But even like the stuff that like they put their own money into, it's not bad. It's good, you know. You just have to look for it. Like, yeah.
I think the animated stuff is a lot easier to find, I think. Like stuff like Love, Death, Robots is always just up there, you know, and like Castlevania and that shit.
Arcane,
Arcane, of course. And even the stuff that isn't like that high production value is still pretty good. Like I watched this one called Trece, which is like, I think it's a Filipino production.
Okay.
It's anime.
Yeah.
Our animated property. And it's about like ghost hunting and monster hunting. And it's really good as well. It's really fun to watch.
So that sounds cool. Yeah, you just have to like watch, like, you know, just step away from Western cinema for a bit on Netflix, and
I watched that years ago, and I don't think it has a second season. So
probably not,
again, it's like, that's the thing about Netflix. I think that's another big criticism of Netflix, is that you can like fall in love with a Netflix original show, but there's such a low chance that it's going to get renewed. And sometimes they'll just cancel things like arbitrarily. So like it's hard to get invested in something if you don't know whether or not it's going to continue. And especially with things like anime and animated properties, because the seasons are quite short, and the stories are often open-ended. So like you don't want to get stuck in a situation where you're like really want to know what happens next, and then you will never know because they will never make it.
Well, at least for Spriggan, you just go read the manga if you're so inclined. I know you're not going to, but like, I might. I've been reading a bit of manga recently, so but I don't know. I definitely like to see a second season on this, because it's just such a fun watch, and I think I've just like been watching too many things with an analytical eye, so it was just fun.
This is definitely it's
not very deep at all.
Exactly.
There's a little bit near the end where it's like, it's that kind of pretty common, like the morality theme, because where the guy's like, Arkham is not always right. but like it's not Attack on Titan, so like, you know.
Yeah, and it's I'd be interested to see like where that plot line goes as well, because like this organization, like of that nature is usually going to turn out pretty bad as well. So I would like to see the point where Ominai finds out that he's working for the bad guys.
No, but I like the genre.
I would recommend this show. Do you have anything else to say about this show, Tavi?
No, I think I'm pretty good, man. It's I'd definitely recommend it. Fun watch. Watch it with your kids.
Yeah, certain episodes, I think. Watch it first, and then if you think it's okay to show to your kids, watch it with your kids.
No, watch it with your kids.
It's better than Lightyear, probably.
Oh, yeah, that movie, yeah.
All right, guys. What did you think of this show? Do you think it stacks up to the feature film? Do you think it follows the manga pretty closely? Where would you like to see this series go from here? Let us know. You can contact us at twoasianblokes@gmail.com. You can join our Facebook group to be part of the conversation, or you can follow us at 2 Asian Blokes to see what we're up to. And watch more Netflix foreign stuff or like non-Western stuff.
Go support that stuff, because Netflix needs your money.
I guess they do.
Well, apparently they do.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't need your money. Well, at least support Netflix enough so they don't put ads.
I'm sure a corporation will bail them out eventually.
Yeah.
Just buy them out.
Blockbuster from the dead.
The return of Blockbuster.
Doctor Strange is its way out of there.
All right, guys. That's it from us. Take care. Until next time.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.